That one doesn't look like it was burning very well, but I think that that's got something to do with the way that the coil packs that came out of this thing, where the coil pack came out of this pretty broken. So I think that the reason that kind of is a little bit oily, might not be burning as well, maybe a little bit, is because the coil pack that came out of it in pieces, which is fun. Strangely, the gap on this bad boy is really small. It's 0.36. The spark plug gap on it is 0.36. 0.036. 0.36? 0.036. So that's pretty small for a gap. When I first started working on cars, pretty much everything was 0.05. But this bad boy is 0.036. We got a little ways to go. Pushing some bitch in there. Just a little bit more. Just a little bit further. If you don't have the gap correct, you can lose some of the miles per gallon. It's not going to fire right. This car had a weird recall on it, having to do with the spark plug gap, surprisingly enough. There we go. 0.36. She's a beaut. Hello. Your dad's a mechanic. That's awesome. It's a good job. It's a good job. Make good money, especially now. There aren't as many mechanics as there used to be. I'm not a mechanic. I just work on cars a little bit. And I have been for a long time. 20 years or so. That doesn't mean I'm any good at it. So that does not mean I am any good at it. In fact, I would say the opposite. I think that maybe I'm getting worse as I get older. Hello. How y'all doing tonight? So, this is a 2011 Chevrolet Aveo5. The Aveo is the car that Chevrolet, GM really, replaced the Geo Metro with. So when Chevrolet did away with the Metro, they already had owned a company called Daewoo, and that is where the Aveo came from. It's sold in 6 different countries under different names by the same corporation, but under different brand names. The 2011 model year came with a 1.4, which is very small, 1.4, a 1.6, or 1.8 liter inline 4-cylinder engine. This is the most common, being the 1.6. And I don't think that they had a turbo in 2011, but there are turbo Aveos. But the thing about the turbo Aveo is that basically it makes it go as fast as a normal car. Ha! Because they're not fast. They're a little underpowered. But I mean, they're good get around cars. So, you know, working on this one for my kid. He is getting his driver's license. Very exciting. I think that thing is stuck in there. Bada bang. It's super stuck. Here, let's make sure it's tightened down right. We'll get a different tool to get it out of there. We're stuck on a little rubber gasket that sits on the inside of that spark plug socket. How y'all doing? Did you refuel your blinker fluid? I did, and I also checked my exhaust bearing. You always got to remember to check that exhaust bearing, especially the main. Let's see. We are stuck. Get that bad boy out there. Bada bang. So we got this from a friend of my wife's and mine. I mean, I guess she's my friend too. For a really great deal. There's definitely some trim issues with this car. The trim issues are really bad. A lot of the plastic in this car is bad, and the door handles are broken on a couple of different doors. One of the back doors, both the interior and the exterior door handles broken. So that's fun. I haven't figured out how I'm going to get that door open yet. But we're working on it. I have some of the doors torn apart, and we're working on that stuff. Get the window regulators back working and stuff. Get them back attached to the windows. So that's all kinds of fun. Let's see. It's not burning too bad. It's not burning too bad. There's a little bit of oil around the threads, which is a little bit funky. But I think that these plugs were probably the original plugs. I think these plugs have been in there. Not totally sure. But I think. Because when I pulled the coil pack out of this bad boy, the coil pack came out busted. So if you look at this, you see the ends of that guy were all still down in there when this guy came out. So all of these were in there with the springs that go to the spark plugs just like busted down in there. I don't know how it was running, but they had said that it would only go like 55 miles an hour or 50 miles an hour. And then when I went to go change the spark plugs, because it's just something that seemed like the right thing to do, I found that coil pack in pieces. So I decided to change out the coil pack, of course, because it was broken. So that's what we're doing right now, is we're doing the spark plugs and the coil pack. Maybe we'll do another stream with this car, working on some of the cosmetic issues. But I definitely need to get the mechanical issues worked out. Now, like I said, the gap on these is going to be 0.36. Which is fine. Very tight gap. Come on now, just a little bit. Just a little bit. There we go. There we go. 0.36. she's good. I don't know. These are iridium plugs. I have no idea. I think they're pretty generic, but I don't know what brand name they are or anything like that. What came out of it were some NGKs, but I really do think that they were the original plugs to the car. Actually, let's do this finger tight first. No need to mess up the threads in there. It'll take me a long time to get that fixed. So, some people that are old like me, that have torn apart older and other cars before, I was very surprised to find the coil pack instead of spark plugs like that. That was really interesting to me. So instead of spark plug wires, you have this nice coil pack, and I guess it doubles as the coil and the plug connection. I thought that was interesting and different. And even though I've worked on cars that are from basically the same year, I mean, I have a 2009 Escape. We have had like a 2010 Equinox. All of those had like plug wires. This bad boy has this little weird coil pack on it. I'm hoping that changing out these plugs will easy peasy. I'm hoping that changing out these plugs will give me just a little bit more juice going on the road. A little bit more fuel efficiency. Them not being the original plugs that were in the car. Might be nice. I like these little 4 cylinders like this. This one seems pretty well put together. My favorite cars to work on right now, though, looking at like the Kia Sportage, the 2-liter inline Kia, is the one that I like the best, I think. Everything is just in a really good spot on those little inline 4-cylinder Kia motors. I also used to enjoy working on, we had a Mazda 626 that we kept forever. It was kind of our first little family car. And we had that bad boy for a lot of years. We had the 626 for many, many, many years. I think we put 270,000 miles on it. 3 starters, 4 alternators, 2 thermostats, 1 radiator. But this is, over the course of wear and tear on the car. At 270,000 miles, you go through some parts. The newer stuff that we have, like the Kia Sportage that my wife drives now, we haven't hardly had to do, knock on wood, we haven't had to do really anything with it too much. That was a stupid thing to say out loud, but I'm sure it'll be fine. It's been a great little car. It's been easy to work on. The oil filter is in a really great spot on that Kia. Oh, nothing else coming in, huh? That's okay. The oil filter's in a really great spot on that Kia. I love that car. I like doing the oil changes and everything on that car. I have a Ford Escape that I don't like to work on as much, and really should get it in here for an oil change and rotate the tires. I need to do that. But somehow I feel like as long as I do the rotation on my wife's tires and do her oil change, then I feel totally cool with it. Hello. I feel like I did my job, and then my car kind of gets slung by, I know that's stupid logic, but my car kind of gets slung by the wayside a little bit. I don't feel as hyper to get mine finished. Now see, this one's burning a lot better than the last two. You see how dry that is? This one's just burning a lot better. With that coil pack being broken, I think that what we were looking at with that broken coil pack in here is that some of the cylinders were firing some of the time. And it being an inline 4, if you skipped one every once in a while, even if it was different cylinders, if you skipped one every once in a while, I don't think you would notice it as much in the inline engine. I just don't. Like in a V8 or a V6 engine is naturally off balance. So it's just a naturally off balance motor. So one cylinder skipping is super noticeable in a V or a wedge shaped engine, right? Whereas in a boxer, which is more inline, or an inline four or an inline six, skipping that one cylinder, you're just not going to notice the vibration and stuff as much. So I think it's possible with the way that that coil pack was broken into pieces that maybe every once in a while this number two and number four were skipping, and then that number three also, because they all had just a little bit of oil, just a little bit of oil. So far, nothing else looks really bad about this car. It's not super high mileage or anything like that. I think they were just looking at a situation where it wasn't maintained. Um, the spark plugs weren't changed. The coil pack wasn't even looked at. It was just broken in there. Or if they did look at it, they broke it and put it right back in there, which is totally possible. Totally possible. We're on our last one of these bad boys. We were saying earlier, these are a .036 gap. And these are just some strange, generic Amazon plugs. I actually got a really great deal on the coil pack on Amazon too. I'm surprised that they're car parts. If you go to Advance, that coil pack's like $112, and the exact same coil pack was like 42 bucks or something on Amazon. Just really cheap. Really cheap. And I'm sure it'll be fine for this. I mean, my kids aren't gonna... I'm sure my kids won't try to hot rod the Aveo. I'm sure they won't. We'll see. Going up to 40, we need just a little bit tighter. .036. Let's get that bad boy to spec. With our really super, you know, just about. I'm gonna call it, I think, maybe just a little bit more, just a little bit. Those will be sticklers. Let's just be sticklers a little bit. Make sure that we're right. Chevy actually did a recall on these Aveos about something having to do with the spark plug gap. I can't find all the information just yet, but there was an issue with the spec on the gap in the spark plugs in these things. For something I can't find the stuff at like 39. I can't find all of the information about it, but I really haven't had time to really put a lot of. There we go, boom, 36. She's a beaut. So there we go. Number 4. Let's get rocking and rolling. Next, we're going to reinstall the coil pack and get that plugged into the wiring harness. And then we have to check this battery. I don't think it's going to hold a charge because I've had to put it on the charger and start the car every single time. What for strawberry elephant? Strawberry elephant. We're going to curse. I love we're going to curse too. What for strawberry elephant? Huh. I have no idea. I don't know. I don't know what you mean. If there is a strawberry element or elephant, I am sure that it's priceless. All right, nice and tight. All right. Let's get this number 4 tightened up. I don't go super tight on these. There's so many threads on there. You don't want to over tighten stuff. Makes everything miserable for the next time you take them out or the next person. Also, maybe once a year pull the coil pack out or your spark plug wires, especially if you have like a Pontiac. If you have like a Pontiac, I worked on a Pontiac V6 for a friend of mine just like not a year ago, and where the wires are is like this recessed hole underneath the manifolds. And the stupid thing, they were just cooked into the engine. Like they'd never been changed. There's absolutely cooked inside of there. And so maybe once a year, pull your plug wires, pull your coil packs, because this one, I think maybe part of the problem was somebody tried to pull it out, and it was baked in there, and that's how it got broken. Is what I think might have happened. It's the only thing that I can think of. Let's get that socket. It's a very scientific process. Boom. Alright. It is cooking here. I don't know where y'all from. You throw it in chat. Where y'all from? I am from Florida. Well, I'm originally from Washington State. I live in Florida now, though, and it is like the inside of a hot dog steamer down here. You probably hear the fan and stuff in the background, but I'm not turning that off. I'm cooking in here. Now let's get our coil pack going. I thought it was a smart, man. I would have got some electrolytic grease to put on there, but I didn't. So I think I'm just going to roll with it and pray that I don't have to take this back out. So here we have this is our over coil pack. This is what replaced spark plug wires for this engine. Hello. And we're just going to insert that. Nice and easy. Push them down in. And now, this is held in by 2 bolts that have I believe it's a number 8 size star pattern. I believe. And I just stuck those bad boys up here so we wouldn't lose them. I live by these magnetic trays. My wife bought me like 4 of them once, and it was one of the nicest presents anybody's ever bought me. Very good. So these have the star pattern on the inside. Maybe you can't see it in the light very well. There you go. Star pattern. Requires a little star pattern guy here. A little. I don't think this might be a Torx. I don't think it's Torx, but this is a T40. Yeah, maybe it is. Star pattern there. And I'm gonna put this in finger tight first, because everything having to do with the engine, man, I have a desperate fear of breaking a screw. We're just gonna make this nice. We're not going all the way in with it just yet, because we're gonna put the other one in, put some tension on it. You don't want to just have the tension on one. You want to make it sort of equal up. I have a desperate fear of like breaking off a screw or a bolt inside of the block, or when you're doing like your manifolds, and you can snap them really easy on your exhaust manifolds or on your this is a plastic valve cover gasket, which is just insane to me, but on your valve cover gaskets and stuff, it's so easy to snap something off inside the block, and now you've turned maybe an hour and a half or a 2-hour job into God knows, a couple hours, couple days, who knows, job. So I always try to be very careful with anything going on around the engine and try not to break stuff off. The one that I'm really, really famous for breaking on almost everything I've ever owned is that valve cover gasket bolt. I nail a bunch of those. Multiple Chevy 350s I've had to tap. And you'd think that I would learn my lesson at some point, but I don't. So there's that. And we're just gonna finger tighten these bad boys down across this coil pack, and we're gonna maybe throw a little bit of tension on it, but we're not gonna get too crazy, because all that this does, there's springs on the inside of those. The springs are what makes contact with your spark plugs. The springs go down, and then the springs also come up. I'll show you. I have the broken one. Let's check it out. So here, this is the end. So this is the the end of the coil pack. This should not be in pieces like this. It should be on this, just like the one that we just put in there was. So it should look like that. And inside of this bad boy right here is this spring. Okay, so this spring is inside of this piece that is still attached, and the coil pack springs just kind of pop onto the end of this bad boy right here. Wrong side. There we go. So that spring inside of the end of this is what's making contact with your spark plug. Okay. Now I don't know why this bad boy came out of there in pieces, but it is busted. I don't know how this car was running, to be completely honest. Like, and it did run. My wife drove it here. I just don't know how. But we'll just chalk it up to being a Chevy. All right. Let's throw a little tension on that bad boy. Get rid of one of these. We're not gonna get too crazy with it. Just a little bit. 1, 2. That feels nice. I've been doing this kind of stuff. See, this side needed just a little more. I've been doing this for a little bit, enough that I can feel the threads a little bit. I think we're good. I think I'm happy. Just kind of roll that bitch. That side's nice. I'm not going to sit and crank on it. We're about equal up. Now, this plug right here goes into the end of our coil pack. Beautiful. Everything's going together really nicely. Then we have a little beauty cap here for the Ecotech. Funny thing about Ecotech, they make another 4-cylinder. Was it a 4-cylinder? There was an Ecotech in our 2010 Equinox. It was a 4-cylinder. And it was just the most underpowered all-wheel drive piece of junk ever. Hello. It was just so underpowered. What happened was that Ecotech 4-cylinder dragging around that big old Equinox, like the timing belt inside of the engine. If you look at the way the Ecotech is built, everything's designed in this weird layered pattern inside of the engine. You have a timing belt, and then you have a water pump or a timing chain, then a water pump chain, and the water pump's actually inside of the block back there. And everything in that side of the engine blew up. Every guide for the timing chain, all of it just broke and exploded, and I had to rebuild the whole thing in the gravel at our old house. And now we're set up here. Let's see. I think the key's in the house, and I don't think this battery's going to light us up anyway. I really don't. But let's see. I'll spark to her. Alright. I'm not going to tighten that down just yet. But what we might do is see if she fires off. Is there anything that I need to remember before I fire it off, though? So the battery is something I disconnected. The battery guide's sitting over there. Nothing anywhere near any of the moving parts. No tools. Nothing in the engine bay. Hang out for 1 second. I'm gonna go get a key. Bada bing. Alright. We got a key. Let's go check it out. What's going to be the easiest way to get into that car from here? We're going to go this way. Might as well go see if it fires off. If it doesn't, I'm going to kill the live stream, and then we'll just put it on the charger and stream again tomorrow, I guess. Let's see what we got. Have to walk all the way around the car because I piled, all my tools are in a pile on the floor right there. They're all jacked up. I had to tear everything apart looking for a certain tool last night. Okay, we got a little bit of light in here. Got a little light in here. Let's see. If it doesn't fire off, we'll just kill the live stream and see what happens. Got some light. Hey-o! Ha ha ha! Let's go check it out. All right. Listen to that baby go. Everything worked out beautifully. Let's go check it out. All right. Hey, we're humming right along. Sweet. Hey, thank you guys for hanging out. Hope that everybody has an awesome night. I'm Z10 Train. If you want, you can subscribe to my channel. I do a bunch of goofy stuff on here, work on cars and do leather work and fishing stuff and all kinds of silly stuff. It's just more a hobby and maybe something for my kids to see after I die. I guess. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.